Hey guys, welcome to the Hmongipino Podcast, bringing you love, culture, and having fun to your life.
What's up?
I'm Danga.
I'm Impact.
And welcome to our channel.
Welcome, everyone. Before we start, we just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Boundless Goodz. They provide used and new goods and really rare items. So make sure you check them out. Thank you so much for supporting us. Also, make sure you check out DJ Danga Dang's Soundcloud. She has some amazing mix and some new one dropping soon. So check it out. If you want some workout mix, to some hip hop mix, to some funk, to whatever you want to have in your life, she has it. So check it out. Yep. We always do the check-in of the day for each other. So Bubba, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's kind of a weird day. I did wake up early. I'm trying to get back my habit of waking up early.
I hear you.
Like at 5:45. But yeah, there's lots of weird energy today. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. To be honest, let's not say the cliche I'm okay, but I am working on myself to get stuff done that I've been kind of holding off. So like just some maintenance on my car, got that fixed. So that was something that I got checked off and so on. But I'm okay as best I can, I guess, right? Best I can, one step at a time. So yep. So this episode today, we want to talk about love language.
Love language.
This is something that my wife and I we worked on, right, in our relationship, and it's also something that we still carry on today to be aware of, so we could continue, living our relationship as happy as best as we can to communicate and grow. So
communication is a big thing for relationships, and I know we've been together for 16 years, and I feel like our communication's gotten better over the years, but I feel like knowing our love language has played a really big part on our communication.
I agree.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, love language, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. I forgot the author, but I think his name is Gary Chapman or something. And he talks about the 5 different love languages that people experience, or 5 different ways of expressing and receiving love, which is words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, receiving gifts, and acts of service.
All right. Did you read the book?
I didn't read the book, but I heard I
was just curious.
Taking the test. So there's a test online that you can take to figure out what your love language is, and
we'll put that in the description comment.
Yeah.
So, in the description,
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's not just for like love relationships. This can apply to like work relationships or like family, like
personal growth too.
Personal growth, knowing how you give love and how you receive love helps with communication and just trying to get as best as you can on the same page with the person that you're trying to communicate with.
I agree, Bubba.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about anything about that?
Yeah. What's your love language, I guess, right? I mean, I know I do my best to be aware of your love language. So I try my best to, so I could, support you in many ways, right? And that's just not at the same time make sure you're happy. So yeah.
So I know I shared the 5 languages, the 5 love languages, but then we can give examples so you get a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about. So for example, words of affirmation might look like compliments or giving someone words of
giving props to people, appreciation, words of gratitude, but
like verbally, right?
Verbally, or in like letter forms.
Yeah,
right?
it could be like a letter. A text.
A text. Nowadays, right? Stuff like even comment, right?
Yeah,
that's something that could really be a love language that can help and positively reinforce some energy and love to someone. So
and then there's physical touch, which is like a hug, a kiss. You can hold hands.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be sexual. It's just
Pat on the back.
yeah, pat on the back.
A handshake. A good firm handshake.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And quality time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just taking some time out of your life to really focus and give your undivided attention to that person that you love, right?
Right.
It doesn't have to be your loved one. It could be your friend, your student, your even your mentor, right? Give them some time to kind of, spend some time and, just,
it could
time,
look
spending time.
it could look like going out
Yeah.
on a date or going out for coffee or
Mhm.
just
Not being on your phone, right?
not being on your phone, having eye contact
Eye
with the
contact.
person, like having a conversation, but then the eye contact is a big thing and you're not like on your phone trying to listen at the same time. Undivided attention, basically.
Yep.
Right?
And then receiving gifts.
Receiving gifts.
Mhm.
Giving gifts, it doesn't mean like expensive gifts. It could be like a thoughtful gift, like, oh, I thought of this person, this person might like it, and
Yeah.
or it could be flowers. Some
It could
people
be flour. It could be
like-
you buying someone food, right? I mean, it's almost like I guess acts of service, but still, you're using and surprising them with something as a gift.
Yeah, and
Right,
it's
so-
the thought of the gift
Mhm.
too, right? That's the love language that
Mhm.
we feel.
I know. I will do my best to probably do a gift, but we'll talk more about that
yeah,
later.
we'll talk
but,
about that later.
um,
We got one more to talk about, and
And
that's
then
acts of service.
Act of service.
Which is doing helpful things for your partner.
Mhm.
It could look like cooking dinner for your partner or
Doing the laundry.
doing the laundry, doing something that'll help them ease some
Ease a day.
responsibilities or
Yes.
something. Yeah.
Like picking up the kids. Or,
Yeah. Yeah.
Act of service. Providing your genuine service to that person you care and appreciate and love.
Yeah, so I would encourage you to check out the website, the quiz, and figure out what your love language is, because I think you might think it's one thing, but then you'd be surprised on what your actual love language is.
I agree.
And it could be different from the way you give love and the way you receive love,
Yeah.
right? So check it out.
That is true. So yeah, I mean, obviously we done that test,
Yeah.
and so we know our love language.
So what's your love language?
My love language is definitely the number one right now. Is act of service, I guess. Naturally,
Yeah.
in my life.
That's his top
Act
love
of
language.
service.
Uh-huh.
And then I will say maybe the second-ish will be physical touch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do I have to go through the order? I don't think so, right? I'm in my top one is probably act of service.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, act of service. And my least is receiving gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Okay.
yours?
Well, my top one is quality time.
Quality time. There you go.
And then I think second and third are kind of tied. Like I do like words of affirmation, and I like physical touch too. And then my least
Where's the affirmation?
my lowest form of love language is receiving gifts.
There you go. We have something in common. Receiving gift.
Yeah.
But I still don't mind getting gift and giving gift. I'm just saying. I just want to be clear. Totally clear for that out there that I feel like love language. It's just ranking where you are at that you have the as for yourself, I guess, right? Like
How you receive
how you receive love. But I feel like everyone has some sorts of I guess love way like how you do your love language. You do also appreciate those stuff that you don't appreciate
Yeah,
too. It's just
yeah.
ranking where you're at, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to clarify. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, I still like to receive gifts, but it's just not how I really truly appreciate love, I guess. in that
Yeah.
way. I know.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
I mean, like, you don't have, like, being in a relationship, you don't have to agree, like, oh, we both have to do this to
Yep.
show that we love each other more. Like, we have to have acts of service at the top of our list. No, it's, you can, as long as you're aware of, like, what the other person really appreciates as love, and then you're able to show that person how much you love them by the way they understand love.
Yep. That's right. So you speaking on that, it's like how we apply our knowledge of our love language, right? So for me, knowing that you like quality time, how do I do it? Express my love language to you, to know that you know that I love you and appreciate you, is I do spend my time with you. I try my best to organize dates, right? Dates where it does take my time and my intention to be all there for you, right? Like, for example, picnics, right? We do love doing picnics at the beach or near, at one of our favorite park, and you know, we do spend a lot of quality time. That's where I feel like we get to learn about each other more, and at the same time we both listen and talk more, you know what I mean?
And it's not like we do quality all the time. I know that's like the least on his list, so I'm not trying to force him.
It's not the least.
Okay, but it's low on the ranking.
It's lower.
But then it's not like I'm trying to make him suffer and like do what I want to do. No, like we'll find some time in the week to do what I want to do, and then another time I might do something that you like, an act of service for you. Yeah. So that way it's like a balance, and then the other feels love.
The most important part is being aware of your friend or your partner or your family members type of love language, so you could improve on expressing your love to them, or for them to understand your love, right? I think that's the most important part, I feel like, right? Because we are aware of each other's love language, we're able to do our best to express our love. Yeah. Right? Because we literally write these down in our bathroom, in the mirror, right? You know, so we are reminded about it every day as much as we can, right? Yeah. So
there's post-it notes with like Michael's name and then like his order of love language, and then on the other side there's my post-it with my name and then what I love. So then like whenever we're brushing our teeth or something, we can like see it, like, oh yeah, I remember, like okay, what.
And it's not just the ranking, it's also showcasing action that we could do too, like
like
planning dates.
What does that look like?
Well, no, it says planning dates, and then underneath it say example picnics, and you know, outing.
And then for Michael's acts of service, it's like, just get it done. If it needs to get done, just get it done.
Well, I'm just saying.
But that's how, like, that's
how I am.
That's what he needs. So then, I mean, like,
because there's just so much stuff to do. So I mean, if you could help out, that'd be great. That's it. I'm just saying, and that's why quality time is not like my top, probably because for me, I feel like I'm always constantly trying to accomplish the next task. So I get kind of like, I guess, fidgety and kind of like slightly anxiety kind of kicks in when I'm like just sitting down and not doing anything.
And then also, if I see Michael's doing a bunch of stuff, right? Like he has like a checklist and he's running around doing a bunch of things, even some things for me. And then I notice that I'm like, oh, he's doing things that he's like showing me love. Like I can see it because he's doing acts of service, and even though I don't feel it in the quality time, I can see it by his actions that he's doing. So that's something I notice.
Yep.
I think about like translating that to family relationships, and then how in like a Filipino family, like, or like my grandma wouldn't tell me verbally like, oh, I love you, or even my family, we don't usually say the words of affirmation part like I love you, but then they'll show you by cooking you food or acts of service in that way.
I agree.
So even though it's not like I don't hear it, but then I can see it by their actions
culturally, right? I feel like that's something that you have to remember as well for yourself, is just because you rank that order, that love language in a certain order, doesn't mean you can't change too, right? Or doesn't mean you could like grow and find some growth in those way of receiving love. So because sometimes it is a background thing, right? Where you grew up learning that type of love language, or you probably didn't receive that type of love language. So you as a person individually do want that type of love, you know what I mean? How to receive love. So it's interesting you brought that up, because it is culturally influenced too. I feel like I agree on that. Like my side, I know my family will definitely show love through lots of good cooking and support, right? Like gifts, right? To you know, like you said, making food for you, you know, or just being there, right? So that's quality time sometimes, right? But not verbally saying I love you sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, now it's different. Everyone's grown up now, so we know the importance of letting each other know we love each other. But yeah, it's just also the way you are brought up sometimes. So it's great now that we're able to kind of like be aware of these type of information.
Yeah.
Because I thought when I encountered it for the first time, it was so. I thought it was really great. I was definitely, it was something different where I was like, you know, let's be aware of it so we could continue to grow in our relationship. So I do highly recommend everyone to just know or be aware of your love language and your friends, your family, your partners' love language, so you can do your best to be your individual self to those people, right?
And I also think it applies in like a workspace too, like a boss and employees. Like if the employees want the words of affirmation and you hear the words like "good job" from your boss,
I hear you.
Then that makes them feel love, and it probably make them want to stay longer or give back the love to the company or the boss in that way. So it's important.
It's another form of communication, right? And communication itself is so key in any sort of relationship. So do your best to grow on this, right? I think so you could also increase your communication. So I hear you on that.
There is a quote that I read that says, your love language is likely whatever you didn't get as a child. Yeah, so let's say if your parents were working all the time and they didn't spend time with you, like when you're an adult, you crave quality time. Do you agree or you don't agree? Or like or like if you didn't get a physical touch as a kid, but then you want that when you're older. That's something you crave when you're older.
I hear you. I don't think so. For at least for me, it is true. You could see that in some people. I guess upbringing. For me, I feel like my reason why my acts of service love language is higher, and because I have a lot of older siblings that have done so many acts of service for me, and my mom and dad as well. So I value that, and I see that, and I feel like culturally that's something in Hmong culture. We act of service is so, I feel like it's more highly valued than like a verbal language, verbal saying I would say, hey, I love you or I appreciate you. But your act of service in a community, sometimes it really do people hold that highly. It's kind of like not losing face with something, right? So maybe that's a cultural thing why I value that too, because I see that in my Hmong community where everyone always try to do their best to support each other, and do some sort of act of service, right? So
what didn't you get as a child?
At least I think.
Like that's what I think. Well, what didn't you get as a child?
Maybe physical touch, right? Maybe that's probably why my second is physical touch, where I appreciate like a hug, or and I grew up, you know, getting more into physical touch with friends and family, you know. Because valuing that, because honestly in the beginning it wasn't, you know,
hug a lot.
Because I do appreciate the hug, and I feel like there's something important about embracing a person and giving them sorts of embracement, right? Like it's, you know, it's warming, it's comforting, and at the same time it's like some sort of energy, you know what I mean, that happens there, like a handshake, you know. So yeah, I mean, I guess that, but I mean, just because growing up probably, I mean, everyone hugged each other, but still, like, I mean, I learned a lot of that from the Filipino folks, you know.
Yeah, that's true too.
I mean, it's true. I mean, because
we hug everybody too.
Yeah, I mean,
like we hug you hello and we hug you goodbye. But then I don't think it was always like that, because like our older generation didn't hug everybody. But I think as a people we're pretty friendly. But then I think that quote is true then, and it's like, it's a little bit true.
Yeah, it's true in some way. But you also could, I feel like you also could have your, like for me, for instance, I feel like I value act service because I see the importance that among individuals that I grew up with, right? So I guess it is true. I mean, your influence with your upbringing, right? Yeah. It could be the opposite. So it could be because you didn't get enough touch, that you value that more, or it's because you also saw the value in that love language and you appreciate it. That's your top, right? So yeah. Well, how about you? Do you think your love language is it also related to your upbringing? Like, Is it because
I'm trying to
your
think.
quality time because your mom dad spent a lot of time with you, or they never did? That's why you valued it, or you know what I mean?
Oh. Well, maybe because I didn't. I
Yeah.
mean, like they did spend time with me,
Yeah.
but they were working a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
So then, yeah, maybe that's why
So
I
you're
love
that
quality.
side then. You're that side then where you
time
probably
more.
didn't get quality time, so you value that more.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they did give me quality time. But they did.
I know.
Like Pizza Hut time on Tuesdays, that was quality time. It wasn't all the time, but then
hear you.
they did put time aside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's this.
I hear you. I'm not saying that like I feel like every parent do their best to do all the love language.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's always room for improvement for everyone as parents. I'm not even a parent yet, so I'm not gonna say I know everything, but I just believe as individual, everyone always have rooms for improvement. So I hear you in that.
Something that I also heard was that love is a choice. And I think how that's important is because it's awareness first, knowing like what your love language is, and then choosing to like if you want to improve it. For example, like for me, I know quality time is such a big thing, but it doesn't mean I don't want to be great at showing love in the other languages. Like I know I have some friends that are so great at giving gifts. Like I always wonder like how do you remember all those thoughtful things? Like they remember like what a person likes, and then they're able to give something so thoughtful. I'm like, oh, I want to get better at giving gifts.
You think I'm a good gift giver?
I think yeah, you are a good gift giver. For me, it's always like, oh, I'll get you a gift card, and I don't want like I feel like I can give more love to that person, but I don't know why I feel like it's so hard. But I want to make the choice of getting better at showing people love in that way. Even if that's how they want, if they're my good friend and they receive love in that way, I want to be able to show them like, oh, I do love you, and let me try to improve in that area in some way. But
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious now. So like just to further this conversation, like since your love language is quality time, do you think you expressed quality time with people? Like, do you go out there to express that? Like, try to have quality time with people?
I think I do. I try my best to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
because I know for sure for me, huh?
You disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can improve on spending more quality time with people.
Yeah, I feel like my condition always prohibits me from doing that fully, but I try my best.
Okay. Well, because I feel like I believe there is your way of expressing love is different too, right? You know what I'm saying? And there's
the way I'm just
saying the way you express love language is different from the way you receive love language.
Yeah.
So I want I guess everyone to be aware of that as
well.
There's
a level
to it because you know, just because your first love language is act of service, you know, your way of expressing love might not be act of service. It might be words of affirmation, right? I feel like my one of my way of giving love sometimes is words of affirmation to people, because I do my best to, if I see something that someone is doing really great, I do my best to acknowledge that, like, hey, you're doing great at that. So I guess I'm just speaking on that to kind of expressing that you as an individual also could express love differently in that way, compared to receiving, right? Because we're talking more about receiving right now at the moment. But it's to when you express that type of love that you want to express to a certain individual, you could be different too.
Yep.
Right? That's all. But I feel like we talked about a lot of important points about this topic and why it's important. But I guess I will ask you, like, why do you think this is important in our relationship?
I think it's important because I don't want to be... Like I was thinking about this idea, like, do you think love is hard? Is love and being in a relationship, is it hard? Sometimes I think we try too hard in ways where it could be easier. Like if you if you're buying someone a bunch of gifts, right, buying expensive things,
Yeah.
and this person doesn't even like gifts, that means they're trying so
Too hard.
hard. Yeah, and it could be easier. It shouldn't be that hard. Like, this person wants quality time, so then you could easily switch it and then spend that quality time and not have to exert so much energy thinking that, oh, this relationship, having to be in a relationship is hard when it's not hard.
Yeah.
So I think knowing what your partner appreciates and wants to receive is how you balance it out where it works for both of you.
That's pretty good. I could totally agree on that.
Yeah.
Just because it makes life a lot more easier for both ends.
Yeah.
It makes, for me, I'll just only add, because when things are a lot easier and things are getting across to each individual and you understand how to take action in life to, I guess, make the other person feel love, is just increase happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more you understand about each other and the more you can help each other or show love, you increase your happiness in life. I think that's and when you're happy and your relationship is happy, is healthy as best it can. So I only add that, I guess, why it's important, because who wouldn't want a healthy relationship or a healthy, individual understanding who you are, right?
Right.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, like, I think about other relationships, and there's some people have been together for a long time, and some people who have been having a rough time in and out of relationships. And then you think of, like, what are we doing that makes it successful, as with others it's not as successful. And I think it's just communication is a big thing to start with, and honesty. But
communication in general, I feel you. I mean, because how would you know how to act on certain problems or situation? How do you find answers to problems, right? If you don't know how to communicate or even listen, because that's also important as much as communicate. And just trying to get your point across. You also need to learn how to just stop and listen to the individual, or even to yourself sometime too. So
I feel like we could dive into each of these things that would help a relationship in other episodes. But for right now,
love language.
Just learn your love language. That's first step one. Is just learning how you like to receive love and how you like to give love.
Okay. Well, we're getting to the end of the episode, Bubba.
Oh, but
Which one? Are we missing something right now?
No, that was right. Just determine your love language. Determine your partner's love language, and then find a time in the week to do something that relates to each other's love language.
Okay.
To, like, help.
Is that your message of the day?
No, it's not. But I'm just talking about how we could apply these love languages into your relationships.
Message of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hear you on that. I hear you. Okay, Bubba. You have a message of the day to share to our lovely audience and supporters.
I do. I briefly thought about this, but my message is to say what you mean and say what you want. I feel like when you assume from someone, that's where things go wrong, because we're not mind readers. Or your partner's not a mind reader. Mm-hmm. So I know in an ideal world, we want your partner to, like, spontaneously read your mind and do things that you want, but that's not reality. And it's just easier if you just say, like, oh, I wish you would cook dinner for me all the time. And the reason why, like, it just helps me every day. Just something like that. And then your partner knows you can't, he's not going to expect, like, okay, is she going to cook dinner? What are we, like, there's no, like, gray area. It's like,
truly do your best to communicate.
Yeah.
Get your point across.
Yeah.
I like
Don't
that.
Assume.
I hear you. I mean, I could because I have a problem with that majority of the time, sometime in my life. So
you assume?
Yeah, I did. So now I'm growing to the point where I am if I want to get something across, I do ask. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you, So I hear you on that.
Yeah.
That's the really important thing to be aware of is, because everyone is also going through something in their life, or they're not thinking the way you're thinking.
Yeah.
So if you want something to get done or to be known, express it as best as you can.
I always think of like if we're like fighting or arguing, and then sometimes I just really wanted a hug. I was like, "Can you just hug me and just say what you want?" And it'll cut down time wasted, and and then the other person will understand what you need and be there for you. Hopefully,
I'll hug you.
You would. Okay.
Okay, so for me, I guess mine would simply based off of what we talked today, and I will just say, do your best to be aware of each other's type of love, right? Since we're talking about love language, because it's important to just be aware. Don't just take action and see that and learn about it, but also take action. That's what I meant. Take action to understand how to express love in that way. So I guess this is a message. It's no source of anything, but just do your best to be aware. I feel like just be aware. I think that's something I want to express out there, because I think my experience with you is the fact that I'm able to do my best to be aware of the love language or how to receive or give is something that is helpful. So
yeah.
Yep. Well, that said, I mean, anything else you want to say, Bubba?
No, that's all.
Well, thank you guys so much. If you guys enjoy what we talked about and what what we're doing, please do your best and share with your family, friends. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Leave a comment. Let us know what we can improve on to, because we're just having fun. We're just doing our best. Yeah. We're still learning. We're just doing our best, just learn and grow.
Comment. Let us know your love language.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let us know your love language and how do you apply it.
Yeah.
We want to know. So that'd be great. We're curious, and not just that. I feel like it's a community. So we're doing our best to just build our own community with y'all.
Thank you to everyone who's been following and listening to our podcast and our YouTube and commenting everywhere. We appreciate it.
We do truly appreciate it. And with that said, Hmongipino, we are out. Peace.
Bye.